Well, welcome to today's webinar called Church360 Members, a brief introduction to Church360 Members. It's an overview webinar. Glad that you've been able to join us here today, and we're going to take a look at the software. I'm going to introduce the software here for us. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just give you a screen that has my information on here. Again, I'm Dave Farnham. I'm a sales representative here with Concordia Technology Solutions. My contact information is on the screen here for you. So I will be leading the introduction here to the webinar today, and then following that, we'll have actually another person, and his name is Ken Olemeyer. He's a senior marketing manager. He's joining us today. He's going to be actually walking us through the software, kind of navigating through there, and then his contact information is also on your screen today here. A little housekeeping for today's webinar. We will be having about 50 minutes for presentation. That's going to follow with 10 minutes of questions at the end if need be. But certainly you can ask questions throughout. So after I get through this little introduction to begin with, I will be available to answer any questions that you might have throughout the webinar. Feel free to go into the questions area and you can ask that question, and I'll be glad to help in any way that I can as far as answering those questions. So, and the recording will be shared at the end. So if you'd like to rewatch this webinar that we had today, you certainly will get that opportunity. We will send you a link to be able to watch this webinar again. But again, thank you so much for joining us today for today's webinar. Now, Concordia Technology Solutions, we are actually the church administration division of Concordia Publishing House. We have been developing software for quite some time, actually since 1984. So we have been working with churches all during that time, learning and developing software, continuing to fine-tune that based upon the needs of churches and those that we serve. So we are happy to serve you with church software. But today we're going to be looking at Church360 Members, and it is a part of a suite of products called Church360, and involved in, or the other products that are a part of Church360 are Church360 Unite. That is a website builder and online communication tool. In fact, if that's something of interest, we will have an overview webinar on that just next week, actually a week from today. And the other product that's part of the Church360 suite is Church360 Ledger. Now that is more of the church accounting software that's been developed for churches to be able to easily manage their finances and your accounting of the software, and it's developed for someone that with not necessarily an accounting background. So it has a lot of ability in the software to use it for those that are not necessarily trained in accounting. So as we look at the Church360 software, we're really going to find that there are really three major components that we'll find in it: the people area, attendance, and the offering. So some of the things that I want to point out to us in regards to the Church360 is that it does have it is mobile accessible, which means that you can actually download an app or put that app on your phone, whether that's an Android or whether that's an iPhone. There's a free app. Once you've signed up for the subscription of Church360, you can put that on your phone, and you'll have access into the people area, and you'll have access into the calendar. And it's been an excellent tool for those that are pastors and or ministry leaders that are needing to be able to go out and possibly make a visit and reach out to people via either contacting them personally, phone, email. It's a great way to stay in touch with folks and have that right at your fingertips. You are able to import your data into the Church360 Members software. So for those that might have our own PC-based software called Shepherd Staff, there's an import that you can bring in your data directly from Shepherd Staff. There's no cost for that at all. For those of you that might have a different software, we do offer the ability for us to be able to convert that data for you for a small fee. So that allows you then to bring in that information from another different software and not lose the history that you have currently in another data system. We also provide daily backups. For some that might have a PC-based software, you will be able to see that we provide that information for you as far as that daily backup. So you don't have to go in there and remember, have I backed up my data? And when was the last time that I backed up my data? What if something happens? All of that is done for you automatically within the software, leaving you really nothing really to think about in regards to that. We take care of that information for you as far as the backups are concerned. We also provide support and training. So the moment that you begin, we're going to provide training for you. That's going to be a one-on-one training for you. We have multiple training sessions that we will provide for you in getting started. We also provide ongoing support. So you can reach out to our support team members via phone, via in-app. There's a help system, and you can also email them. And then we also have a library of resources of videos that are available for you. So all of that, once you're a part of Church360 Members, you're really part of our family, and we will be able to fully support you in your usage of the software itself. A few assumptions that I may as we are entering into today's webinar. One is that you probably have some familiarity with church management software. Most churches are using something to manage their membership and other information, and maybe even their offering data as well. So there's definitely an assumption regarding that. But the other assumption is you're probably new to Church360 Members. You don't know that much about it. You really haven't seen the insides of the software yet, or too much at least to see how the inner workings of how things work in the software. And the other thing is that you're extremely busy. So we always know that folks are on a time constraint. They've got a lot of work to do. So we want to make sure that we're using our time wisely here today and in what we're doing with our webinars. So we want to be able to use that time and your time wisely. So right now, what I'm going to do is just throw out a couple different polls to you. To have you tell us a little bit about yourself, those of you that are joining us today. So we're going to, and this is really you're going to see this quite possibly on your screen of your GoToWebinar, and maybe you can click on that and let us know that information as far as, who's attending here today. So you can select that option that might be on there. All right, and it looks like we've got pretty widespread diversity there of people, so that's great. And I think we're going to throw up a different poll here and get other information here. So what would you consider your Church360 members level to be, skill level to be? So this might be for some of you that actually already have Church360, because we do have a number of people that at times are coming back to watch one of these webinars, and they've already chosen Church360. They're just coming here to refresh their skills and or maybe learn something new. All right. Okay, so we're going to get back here into really our outline. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about some of the outlines of what we're going to do here today. So first of all, we're going to go over some of the goals of Church360 Members. And then after that, that's when we're going to take a tour of the software. Following that, then we'll have our questions and answers. So really, what are the goals of Church360 Members? What are they? What do we have for goals? Well, one of the goals, really the main goals that we have, is that we were going to focus on people. So in the software, we have a big, strong focus on people. On everything that we do in the software is focusing on people. We know that it's data, we know that it's software that's entered in here, but in the midst of all of that, we want to make sure that our software has a strong focus on people. So we know that every person that's representative in your database is a person that really we need to reach out to with the gospel. They need to hear the gospel. And for those that are already believers that are a part of the church too, we need to do a great job of being able to minister to those that are already here. And so our job is to allow the software to really focus on people and to keep a focus on people. And that's really why we call it Church360 Members. So that's what we're trying to do within the software itself. And the other thing that we're going to, some of the goals is to give you access where and when you need it. So the software is web-based, which it means that it gives you access to the software from wherever you happen to be. So that would be at home, at church, of course. But wherever you happen to be, you can log into your software and get to that data. We talked about the mobile accessibility, being able to put that app on your phone. So again, that catches you where you are, and you're able to go in there and get that information and be able to minister to those and quickly put in that pastoral note and that visit from your phone itself. Again, giving you the information that you need, but how you need it and when you need it. We want to provide the building blocks, not just a blueprint. What we mean by that is we want to be able to provide a software that works with you. It gives you the information in there that you need. It provides all of the appropriate fields and information you can put in, but also doesn't give you just a cookie cutter approach. Allows you to be able to have custom fields or things that you can add. We know that just even a small example is that some churches might call some of their ministry leader, they might call them just a ministry leader. They may call them an elder or a deacon, or they may call them a shepherd. And it gives you the flexibility to go in there and make those changes and have those certain titles and add different fields into the software. So it allows you, and I guess the key word here is really flexibility in the software. And the other thing that we want to do is really help bring data to light. Well, what we mean by that really is we're going to try to, if you in the church, you're kind of thinking maybe as a pastor or ministry leader, wow, I really haven't seen Joe in a while. And I wonder if there's something going on, or maybe is that just me? I'm not sure. Well, you can go in there quickly and be able to have access to that information and really see patterns of, wow, Joe, he really has missed. He hasn't been here in 3 weeks, and quickly access that information, and it allows it quickly to bring it to light. Bring it to your knowledge and see that, yeah, that really is true. So now you can see that information. We know that not everybody is a data analyst, but again, we can see information and it helps us to be able to get a different perspective on it for a ministry purpose, and see, really patterns and analyze that so that we can, again, focus on people and allow it to give us really tell us more of a story about what we're seeing. So again, using that information and then turning it into insight. As you see that, you're able to quickly analyze that and be able to know, you know what, we really do need to do some follow-up here with some folks and touch base with them to see what's going on. And I think that that's what it gives you, is that ability to be able to see that information, turn it into insight and knowledge, and let the data speak and give you knowledge of knowing what you need to do next in ministry with people. So with that, right now, I'm going to kind of turn this over to Ken and let him take this from here as we go into kind of the introduction to the software.
Hey, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you having me here today. And as Dave said, we really do appreciate all of your time today for coming into this. Yeah, as Dave mentioned, my name is Ken Olemeyer. I am a senior marketing manager here at Concordia Publishing House. And while Dave has been working with Concordia Technology Solutions and the software for years, I'm relatively new at it. I've been here for a couple of years. I noticed in our poll, we've got a couple advanced, we have pretty much immediate intermediates, and we've got a few newbies. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to help share this software with you today, is just to show you how simple it is to get to use this software and to understand it. It's a very powerful tool, and it can really help you get to know your members better. So in my job, I get out and I talk with a lot of different church leaders. I talk with pastors, I talk with administrators. I meet with the directors of Christian education and the children's ministry people and the elders, etc. I was an elder in my church as well. People just like you, a lot of people with different roles, different responsibilities in their church. But one of the things I consistently hear day to day is, man, I really need to stay in touch with my members, and I need an easy and simple way to do it. And I think we've got a great resource here with Church360 members. I had mentioned too that some of you may have intermediate levels here. We've got a chat box here. If there's something that you can share that you're doing with Church360s, perhaps a particular tag or a way that you've customized it, share it with the rest of us. We'd love to hear that as well. So we're going to look at this from a 30,000 foot view. What are we going to talk about today? We're not going to be able to cover everything in the time that we have, but we're going to look at focusing on the people. I mean, it's called Church360 Members for a reason, and that's because we're focusing on the people. In today's intro, we're just going to look at people and households and how we distinguish them. I'm going to show you how simple it is to add a new family into your congregation. But there's much more to it than just people and households. We're going to look at tracking demographic information and contact information. We're going to talk about custom fields. Remember, Dave said this is building blocks, not a blueprint. So there's a lot of customization in here that you can do. I'm going to show you some quick links to attendance and offering reports. And then if we have time, we're going to jump into the calendar function through events, offering and contribution reports and statements, some of the different reporting that you can do with Church360 members, and how we can assign different roles and members. So we've got a lot to cover today in our time. So let's jump right in. Dave, can you switch me over to my screen and make me the presenter? And I'm going to make sure that I've got the right screen on.
Sure. We'll get this done here in just a second.
Okay.
There you go.
That. All right. Let's make sure my screen is up. Does everybody see that screen okay? Good, good. So after you log into Church360 members, this is your opening screen. It's the people view, and everything revolves around the people. So that's why we make this front and center for you. So let's just do a quick navigation of what's up here. First of all, you notice on the left here, right off the bat, you've got a very easy way to add your own church logo or an image or anything like that. I'm going to show you how to add pictures in here later, so we won't go into this now. But it's convenient to be able to do that. And then as we move across, you see people, you see events, you see you see attendance, you see offerings, and you see reports. These are pretty much the most used areas in the software. So you'll be on those type of things all the time. You'll be on it on a daily basis. Now, we continue on the top here, and we go over to the right. You notice this little bell. This will notify you of any messages that you may need to address. And then we've got this. This is a great feature that you'll be using quite a bit. It's the gearbox or the gear wheel, or it's a drop-down menu. And it has a collection of a number of areas that you can manage: the calendars, your church register, envelopes, etc. And then your administrative section here with general settings, logins, roles. We're going to talk a little bit about roles later. And then the final piece up here is just your personal profile. That's where you can have your user settings, etc. All of this is pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy to navigate through. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here. But this is where we're going to spend our time today, talking about the people and households. This is where you'll really get to be able to know your members. And right here at people, you notice a drop down here. We have broken down into individuals, household, you put givers in there, marriages, and it will have different screen showings, and we'll get into some of those as well as we move on. But for instance, marriages, you'll be able to pop up and just see when everybody is married. And what a great way to build community and to really strengthen relationships, having that type of information at your fingertips. Let me do this real quick. You notice the filter bar right here too. This is a very easy tool to find people's names. As I just type in there, you'll notice it pops right up. It automatically filters in. It's an easy way to find zip codes. Let's do 63128. Okay, we've got some people with that zip code. It's just a very simple tool for you. Everything just automatically filters as it goes. So I'm going to clear that out. All right. So again, still on this area on the right side, you notice upload right here. This is primarily for the people section, but it is a very convenient tool for you. It allows you to upload V cards that you might get from Outlook or other software that uses the V card, but it also allows you to use the Shepherd Staff database, as Dave mentioned earlier. And then next is download. And some of us love to have customized databases, because really, what good is data if you can't segment it and use it for your needs? I love the download area because you can then download into CSV files or an Excel file. Let's say you need to download an attendance report for your elders. Very simple to do. Or let's say you're a pastor and you want to download the report of all the latest new members that you have, where you'll be able to study it and take a look at it. Very simple. Or let's just say you're looking to do a mailing list for the women's Bible study. Here's where you would take care of that and do that. And then next thing we have here is print. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's perfect for printing individual records out or printing what's on your screen. And then lastly, we have the opportunity to save custom reports. The last area here is very important too, and it's a very powerful way to filter your people and your members. Look at this drop-down menu here. You see it says everyone, members, and then it has various tags. What it does, it pulls the information to the forefront, and it really allows you to assign different tags to people and see things very quickly. Just go through a couple things here. Let's just say you want to see who all was on your altar guild. You've provided a tag for that. And again, this is how you can customize this software very easily. But as soon as I do that, the people who are involved in the altar guild show up. Let's say I want to find people who are my greeters. Well, it shows the whole list, and you see those who are highlighted as my greeters. So it allows me very quickly and very easily the opportunity to know who those people are. So I'm just going to take this back to the top, go back to everyone. This right here we call the hamburger menu. You'll see this a lot of times on different software packages, but you click on that, it even allows you to filter at even a finer tuning level. So we won't go into some of this today, but what I really do, I recommend that you really take some time and work through some of these filterings of the traits. It becomes much more convenient to you. And then the last area here is columns. If you drop that down, this helps customize your screen to see just the things that you want to see on your screen. So for instance, let's say, oh, I don't need to see the elder district. I just click on that and that closes that out. Let's say I'm not interested in where they are right now with offerings, or if they have a photo. And you see, it just condenses the screen that much further and allows me to see exactly what I need. So those are the navigational tools. So let's now put this to work. Let's make this easy. So let's go back to people and households, and I'm going to show you just how easy and simple it is to add a new member to your church, a new family. So I'm going to go to individuals, and I click on that, and again, it shows me all the individuals in my congregation. I'm going to click on new, And what you see here is the screen where you're going to be adding a new person, and you just notice household. So let's say you've had a new family starting coming into your church called the Beltons, and they're an older couple, Robert and Nancy. They've just started coming in and attending your congregation. You want to keep track of them. Well, the first thing we do here is type in their family name. And I'm going to type in Belton. All right. And I'm going to hit enter. Very simple. So now let's just start adding the information into it. So we mentioned Robert. I'm going to type that in there. And then I just tab across, male, member. Let's say they're not a member yet. So I'm going to hit no. And then I'm going to type in his wife, Nancy. So I'm going to do that. Tab over again. Tab, female, and no. And I somehow did not catch Robert there, so let me catch that. And then you can either say add and edit or just add. For this purpose, let's go add and edit and see what happens there. It's going to click through. Okay. So this is the first screen then. This is the household screen that we see. So you see there's not a lot happening here yet. We've assigned a household and we've assigned two of the members, Robert and Nancy. In this view also you can change the order that you have them in, and that could be helpful if there are a number of children and you want to put them in birth order, or if you wanted to do anything there. But let's start looking at how we can add some material here. There's no address here, so let's start with the address. Let's say 2863 Cathedral, let me spell that right, Cathedral Drive, and that's in St. Louis, Mo 63129. So we add that, we tab that over or click off of it. And here's something, a great feature in Church360 Members. Notice how it immediately gave me a map. And you click on this and it is connected to Google Maps. So it allows me to see exactly where the new family is, or the houses in our congregation. And it's so convenient for any of us who are on the road traveling quite a bit. It's so nice to be able to grab your phone and just use the map feature right there and know exactly where the people are. So I'm going to click off of that. Next, you can add the phone number, you can add email addresses, you notice the history section there. We won't get into that right now. I'll show that in some other things. But let's move now to just add some additional information. And I'm going to click on Robert first. Wait for that to go through. So we've now moved from the household to the individual side. And notice how the household address follows us along. So here again, we can add phone numbers, email addresses. If we had done that in the household side, that would have followed all along as well. But let's add some family members. So let's add his wife, Nancy. So I'm going to type or click on the plus sign there and start typing in Belton. And I see Nancy, and I scroll down past some other Beltons. So I'm going to add Nancy. I'm going to assign her a spouse so that we have that in there. So now we've got it connected. We've got the two of them connected, and we just continue to move on. So let's provide a few tags here. In fact, I'm going to go back to Robert. Well, I'm on Robert. So let's add a couple other things here. Let's tags. So let's say Robert likes to study God's Word. So he's been involved or coming to the men's Bible study. You notice I start typing that in, and that automatic filtering feature already pops it up. So all I need to do is click right on there, and I've added a tag for Robert. Let's say some other things. Let's do some church activities. Let's say he's interested in being an usher, so I can click on ushers. Hobbies. Let's go. Robert likes to gardening. So I can click on gardening. Maybe he is interested in the bowling that we offer at church. Click on that. And then last, he likes to golf. So I can click on golf. And I've now added a series of tags that will allow me to filter Robert very quickly and very easily onto some other things. All right, so if we then move on to the right side, you notice some other things over here. We've got a male. You notice ethnic group, and you can add to that or not, I'll show you how to add some different features on here as well. Many churches do like to keep track of an ethnic group just so that they can show in their reporting the diversity of their church or things like this. I'm not going to get into that right now, but you could use that. We also have things like birthday. Let's say Robert was born 1946, let's say. And we know that he was born in April, but we don't know the specific day. I'm going to go back to that 1946, click on that, and I click off, and now it shows me his birthday, and that will be in there as well. He was baptized, we can go through that, confirmed. If he's deceased, if you have widows and widowers in your congregation, this is a nice way to keep track of this. All of these things are customizable, and I'll show you later how we can get into roles. It's also nice too, we have occupation and employer. Let's say you've got specific needs within your congregation, and it would be helpful to know skill sets that different people have through their jobs and things like that. You can add occupations there. Again, there are a number of areas that you can customize here. If you go up to the gear setting again, you can add and save different things there. The other thing too, you'll notice a grayed out profile here at the top. This is where you can add a photo, and it's very simple to do, and we'll do that down the road. And last thing too on this page I want to point out, you notice the circle I right here. Dave mentioned that we are here to help you if you have questions or if you need additional support with this software. So here is where you click on that. It will pop up to the area that you're in specifically. Let's say, how do I add photo? And I click on that, and I already clicked through, but it will show me, it'll walk me through how to add photos or address any type of questions that you have. And if the question is not there, you have an option to send us a message, or we're always available via phone for you. Okay, so let's start continuing to make these connections here. I'm going to close out there. Let's click on to Nancy now and add some information about her. So I click on to Nancy. It's cycling through. All right, now you see I've connected to Robert, and she's in the Belton household. So we also can go in and add phone numbers. We can add email addresses. We can do some history there. But let's go into tags for her. Let's say Nancy's involved in the women's Bible study. So type in women's Bible study. That clicks up as a tag. Let's say she's involved in the altar guild. Again, a tag. I'd really be curious to hear how some of you who have been using this software for a while are doing tags and using tags. That would be helpful for us to know. Last but not least, let's say she's a youth chaperone. She's available to be a youth chaperone. Okay. Easy to have all that. It's also very easy to remove a tag just by clicking on the X right there and then getting out of it. Also on the right, all the different options that we would have on there, same as we have with Robert. Now I want to show you something really neat. How can we go back and connect a household? So I'm going to go back to Robert. And we noticed when I was typing in Belton originally, remember we saw some other Beltons there. So let's find out what that is about. Let's say the other Beltons, Troy, is Robert and Nancy's son. You know, this is one of the reasons why Robert and Nancy have moved into your area, because they've retired and they're coming back to live closer to their kids. So Troy is their son. So I can add Troy in here, and it pops up as children. And if I go back to Belton household, now let me go back. I'm going to go back to people. I'm going to go back to households, and I'm going to type in Belton. Okay, now you see we have two different households. The Belton households each has their own unique address. They have their own unique members, etc. But again, I click in here. I'm going back to Robert. We're showing Troy now is their child. And then notice this underneath. It says show grandchildren. Well, it's already connected Troy's children, Lena and Darren, into this family unit. So this is a great way to really get to know the families and make sure that we're seeing everything that we want to see. So told you it was very easy to add a photo. Let's go ahead and do that right now. You see this grayed out box right here. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to upload a photo to it. And I'm going to go to my desktop, and I have a photo. I'm going to go down here. I've got a photo of the Belton family. And these can be photos that you've taken from your directories, etc., or whatever. You notice it's really tight in here, so I'm going to crop this. So just click on crop, and it's just like any photo program, but I can put in the entire family within the square, so that's going to be tough to fit everybody in there. But so let's just fit in Robert. So again, if you're familiar with any type of editing and cropping of photos, this will be second nature to you. So there's Robert. I hit close, and I've got his picture in there. And this is great. I love this. Again, I was a former new member elder at my church, and we would always take pictures of our new members and have a sheet so that we would be able to start connecting faces with names. And I love this option. All right, so let's go back to Robert Belton and the Belton household. Also, you notice I just clicked on his name. This allows us to go in and type some different things up. You know, maybe Robert's middle name is William. So I can type in William. And it's, again, very easy. Once I click off of it, that information is saved. So let's go back to their household. We're there. I'm going to go in here. I want to show you how easy it is to add a note. So I click on history. I say add note. I'm going to write a little background. So I met them last Sunday, or Sunday the 10th. So I just click on that date. Let's say retired from Wisconsin and moved to be closer to kids. And then depending on your access privilege, look at this, I can then have anyone see it. I can have my administrative people see it. I can have my elders see it, general users, pastors, etc. We can show that when we do roles. So let's just say I want everybody to see that. And then I just click off of it, and now it's saved. And this is a great way to add context and really help stay in touch. So you can go back and see it. Let's say we've met them then, and we want to add a pastoral visit. That is one of our tags. And instead of me doing the pastoral visit, I want my pastor, Kent Williams, and I want him, he's going to come in for an evangelism call, add a note, say, great conversation, interested in joining. Again, you have the flexibility here to add whatever you would like to add on it. I'm going to add note there and click off. So we have all of this type of thing tagged. All right. So that's how easy it is to update members here. I mean, there's so much great information you can update and capture and customize with Church360 members. Now let's go back to people though and show you how we can use this information. Now I've already showed you how to put in tags. Now if you go back over to here to the what we call the smart selector, smart group selector, here's where you can search for those tags. And I did it very quickly before, but let's say I want to find everybody who is a golfer. And again, maybe we're starting a church league or just a group of people who are interested. So it pops up very easy. So this is also a great way if you put tags in to maybe identify volunteers for certain groups, or you know, those who have similar interests, or you know, as I said earlier, those with specific skills that could be helpful for your congregation. And if you add the drop-down menu there, you can even do more specific types of things. Again, Church360 is giving you the building blocks for this, and you can do it as you see fit. Now, I would try a few searches. I'd recommend just really digging into this functionality and trying it. You're not going to break it. It's not going to fall apart on you. So try a few searches, see what works best for you. So let's move over now. That's the people aspect of it. Let's move over to events. And just as it's important to keep track of our various people in our congregation, it's very important for us to keep track of the different events in a church. I mean, that's kind of the lifeblood of a church as well. So this event tab just lets you do that exact same thing. You'll notice here at the top, you've got an opportunity to go to the previous month, an opportunity to go to the future month, and then the middle takes you right to today. At the top here, we can look at this from a month perspective. We can look at this from a week perspective, so a week at a glance. And then you'll also notice above, we're able to download this. We're able to download this to a Microsoft Word document, which is really convenient to take the calendar and then format it and edit it and include it in your church newsletter or something like that. Again, it's much more, saves a lot of time for you to be able to do that. Also, you can print it, and then you can save specific reports. Now, one thing too, if you see this, when it says calendars, this is another drop-down menu. And this allows you, just like in the other view, where you can decide what you want to see in your calendar, you can start checking some of these things off. So you can add a number of different calendars on here, again, to whatever your specific needs are, and just keep track of a few things. Maybe you just need to know when confirmation class is. You can go through there and click through it, and then you just see each Tuesday night we have a confirmation class. So again, it allows very robust customization for you. So how do we customize a calendar? We did the drop down, you can see that, but we can also add new events to it. So let me click through here to new, and you know, it's a standard calendar type of thing. We can type in our title. We can add it to the calendar that we have assigned it to. We can add a location. Is this something going on in your church sanctuary? Is it something going on in your gym? The day, whether it repeats, add some notes, etc. And again, how convenient is this to be able to print these out or to download these, just to have that week at a glance view? You know, both of these people, or both of these features, the people information and the calendar information, will sync up to your phone as well. So when you have that view out there and you're out in the road, you know, how great it would be to just kind of check that before you go in to see somebody and make sure that you've got their birthday remembered, or make sure you've got their confirmation remembered. So we've talked about adding an event, and that's it. That's how simple it is. Once you put all that information in this view, you click add and it's in there. You can also go in and change it and download it. Now let's go over, in some of the time I have, into attendance, and just show you when I click on attendance, it takes you to a whole bunch of things. All the events on the right side are future events that are coming up that are on your calendar. So they've been tagged on your calendar and they show up here. We just show the future events, or pardon me, the past events. I'm sorry, these are all past events. We just show the past events because you can't take attendance for something that's happening in the future. So we allow you to come back in and see what's going on this way. And it's very simple to take attendance on this. When you do your calendar and an event, you have an option, and I'm just going to go back and click that. You have an option when you're setting something up to say attendance taken, or you can go in there and say communion served, offering taken. Again, these are things that you can customize. So when I then go to attendance, these are the events that had that button clicked. So let's say last Sunday's contemporary worship. I want to get a sense of who was there. All of my people are listed. I can just go in and start clicking names. I can click to see, let's go back to the Belton family. Troy and Kara took communion. That was one of my options that I included. I just click on the image there and it's added. You see down at the bottom right, it starts giving me the total for people. So I can go in and let me just add complete families. And let me add individuals. So Molly was there, but Brian wasn't. Culberson family was there. And it keeps giving me the numbers there at the bottom right. The other thing that's great about this view as well is it also allows you to add additional headcount. And you'll see that down at the bottom screen here. Let's say we had 20 guests as well. So I can add that. And it's saving it for me, and it's showing me a total then of 53 people were in this service. So where does this come in handy for you? Well, besides being able to keep track of the attendance in various worship services or Bible studies, you can also then keep track of members and who's attending confirmation class or who requires a pastoral visit. You can even add attendance and provide then the appropriate tags for them. Again, these are building blocks, not a blueprint. You're going to be able to take it and modify it and use it for your congregation the way you best see fit. So as we go through these different sections, try a lot of different things out. Try a few new tags on people and see how it starts to help you in getting closer to your people. And if you have any questions along the way, again, you can search down the I that's there. Or you can give us a call and contact us, and we'd be more than happy to help. All right, in my remaining few minutes here, I want to jump over to offerings and show you a little bit about that. A couple things about offerings. As you can see, this view is quite different than any other view on the screen. And you have a graph here on top that shows you your offering trends. And we can grab an entire section there and see. And then you notice it pops up with the date, with the event. We could tie it to an event, and the people. Again, giving a chance to see where, how people are tithing and what offerings they're giving to you and the amount and the way they do it, a check, a total, etc. But this is kind of neat too. Notice as I scroll over and move it, it automatically changes. So it'll keep track of a specific date range that I want, or I can scroll this in and just get a few days there. Maybe I just want to know this particular day, how everything went. And it's done in a week's time. So if there are other types of things that have come in offerings in that week, you can keep track of it there. And it's very easy to add into this database. This database is a little out of date, so let's add something new. So we click up here to new batch. And there are no events on this date, but let's go back to last Sunday and see what's there. Okay, we had offering taken in our traditional worship. So let me click into that. And these are things that within your calendar view, as you've added that in there, if there were offerings accepted that day, they would show up here. So I'm going to add into this. And now I can quickly enter the amounts here. So this is a new batch. I've got some other funds in there right now, and I'll show you how that comes up. But I can quickly add information in here, and I can really do it all on the keyboard. So let's just do this real quick. Loose offerings, you'll see that it was cash, and I'm just going to hit, you can either hit on there, or when it pops up like that, you can hit your keypad and it'll change it. So I'm hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, and it changes it. But let's say it's just that. And then I can decide what the funding was. I'm just going to go into general fund, or actually I'm going to go into building fund, number 4, and then just type in the amount, $450, and then you can enter a memo, new stained glass. And then I just click out of it. And those were loose offerings. But I can also then go in and designate my people or by envelope number. Now, envelope numbers are not required on Church360 members. Some churches have envelopes and numbers, some don't, but you all have people. And this is why we can do it this way for you, because it makes it very convenient for you. Let's say the Abbotts came in and they wrote their check, and check number 1254, and they're going into the general fund, and they wrote a $200 check. Again, memo or not necessary, but then that's saved. And it's just that easy to add payment into it. So most of the entry can actually be done just on the keyboard itself. And once you get used to it, it goes by pretty quick. In fact, we've even gone into churches to watch how different churches are handling their offerings like this and their offering entry to kind of get some greater efficiencies for it. Of all the things we've updated lately in Church 360, we've kept this pretty much the same because it seems to be working very well from what we're hearing. But if you have any ideas or any thoughts on it, by all means, please give us your feedback. The last thing, as we're coming up on time here, I want to just go to reports. And I want to share a couple different reports and show you how simple it is. Now, a lot of times, reports, you have to generate a PDF, and then you have just pages and pages and pages of information you have to go through. We do this a little bit differently. We actually have our reports live here, and we have them so that you can click on it, and it gives you the information right away. Again, what good is data if you can't dig into it? As Dave said, most of us are not data analysts. So it's great to see the information very conveniently here. So I clicked on attendance. I can just kind of go through. Again, very similar to the offerings, how it came in here. Say I can see when everybody was attending, the different church services, if there were other events in there. Let me go back to reports and try a couple different things. Here's annual reports. And you can again see the demographics where you can really get a sense of how diverse your church is, what the age is. Yeah, it's interesting. I mentioned I go around and I talk to a lot of churches. And one of the things we talk about is, okay, do you have an older congregation, a younger congregation, new families, etc.? Here's where you'd be able to have that information at your fingertips. And it makes it very convenient for you. So we've done the reporting this way for a specific reason, and that's to really have it web-based so that you can access it at any time and then not have to do it. That said, you can still go back through and you can save specific types of reports or start a new report, and it's all spelled out there for you pretty easily. One last report. Let's just go to offerings since we were just on the offering page. Again, it shows you where your offerings are going. We were doing last Sunday, the 17th. I can do a quick report on there. And you can see that it's either by specific funds, or I can go up here to summaries by giver and see who was making the offerings that week and do it that way. It's very robust. So one final thing I want to talk about in our time here is roles and how to assign roles and such. As I said, this is a very robust tool, and some of this information is very general. Some might be very private that you don't want everybody to see, and some of it could be very sensitive. So it's up to your team to decide who gets to see what. The good news within Church 360 members is that you can have an unlimited amount of logins, and you can assign as many people to the software as you like. The bad news is you can have an unlimited amount of logins and assign as many people as you want, but actually that's a great thing. And it's great because unlimited users gives you unlimited flexibility, if you think about it, greater flexibility. Because you can add as many different permissions and permission groups as you want. The building blocks, again, not the blueprint. You can go back in your gear wheel setting here. I already did this in the roles, and it shows you everybody's roles. And then you can assign different permissions. So for instance, let's say you have volunteers and you want to have them have access to this software, but you don't want them to see everything. You open this up, you click on it, and then you see here where you can start seeing different people's information. Can they edit people's information? Can they see other people's ages? On and on and on through here. And you can then save it, and it allows this flexibility for you to be freed up to do other pieces of ministry that you need so that you can have other people in there taking it. So just to wrap up, I'm just going to go back to people. As I said, there's a whole lot that you can do with Church 360 members. And this overview just really began to scratch the surface. Dave and I, as he said, will be offering more and more sessions like this as we dig deeper into specific topics. So look for some announcements coming up in that. And again, we thank you for attending. We know it is a busy time of the year right now with Lent going on and just everything else that you have going on in your congregation. So we appreciate you coming in and doing this. And if either one of us can be of further help, or if you have any questions, please contact us. We're here to help you and to make sure that this software is not just software that is sometimes used, but it's something that's daily used for you and that you're really seeing benefit out of it. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Dave and see if there are any questions in our chat section or anything that he can help answer for you. So Dave, I'm going to change you to the presenter, okay? Dave's going to unmute it. There he is. All right, I'm going to change presenters and have you do it. So again, thank you guys. Have a blessed week, and we will talk with you later.
All right, so for those of you that are actually brand new to Church360, if this is something that you would like to start a free trial, you can see that on your screen it'll say start a free trial at 360members.com. So that's a place where you can go to. There's multiple buttons there you can click on to start a free trial. For others of you that already have Church360 members, certainly feel free to reach out to us. If you already have, and I'm going to put my contact information on here. But if you already have Church360 members, you really might want to get in touch with one of our support team members. So that number again is 800-346-6120. I'll repeat that again, 800-346-6120. But for those of you that are new, certainly start a free trial and then give me a call if I can be of assistance for you. I help a number of churches as they're just beginning to investigate that information and look at new software. We are ones that will assist you to see if this would be a good fit for you. So again, our contact information and mine is on your screen there. Any other questions that you may have, certainly feel free to enter them into the question box now, and I will be glad to answer any additional questions that you might have. So I'm gonna just wait here just a minute and see if anyone else enters in any additional questions into the question box. And we'll see if there's anything there. I don't have anything that has just popped up. I'll wait just a moment here. Again, I do want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule today to be a part of this overview webinar of Church360 members. And I don't see any additional questions added in here. So again, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day. And we look forward to possibly serving you and your church needs with Church360 members, or answering any additional questions that you might have. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.